Hi everybody, I'm Zilla Blitz and welcome to episode 9 in our campaign game with Silent Victory, GMT Games' game of submarine combat in the Pacific Theater in World War II. Skipjack has had 5 successful patrols so far. It's time for patrol number 6. So once again, let's take Phoebe the Battle Cat and the crew of the Skipjack out of Pearl Harbor into the Pacific Ocean for some hunting of Japanese ships. Off we go. As always, let's do a quick recap before we start our patrol. We're heading out of Pearl in July 1943. We've had 5 patrols before this. All 5 have been successful. We've got 11 ships sunk for a grand total of 54,000 tons. So far, so good for the Skipjack and her crew. Speaking of her crew, we have Executive Officer Wallace with us, the same crew as before. Wallace handles our evasive maneuvers. Chief Engineer Wagner, who fixes things up. Dr. Lyle, who fixes our crew up, has had very little to do. The only injury so far has been to Engineer Wagner, the only Purple Heart we've given out so far. And then Third Executive Officer Custard handles our torpedo room. We are also bringing with us, of course, our battle mascot, Phoebe the Battle Cat. She will join us again. We have loaded up the Skipjack with 24 torpedoes, and now it's time for us to find out our mission and see where we will be patrolling on this patrol. Oh, I do have one thing to mention as well. In the last patrol, I made a mistake. I saw this before the patrol started, but there's a +1 detection modifier that's listed. The way it was listed, it made me think it was only if you close to close range. But it was pointed out that no, that detection modifier should apply all the time, and we didn't apply it. So it made that last patrol a little bit easier for us. I think there were 1 or 2 times where we escaped detection by rolling just on the roll, and if we had interpreted that rule correctly, we would have still been depth charged. So that made our last patrol easier. We will adjust that going forward though, so we'll get that +1 roll in there. So this patrol will be more difficult than our previous patrol, and will fall in line with all the rest of the patrols coming up for 1943 and 1944. So off we go. Let's see where our patrol takes us this time. So it's July 1943, which means we're rolling on a new patrol chart here. Here are our possible destinations. Marshall Islands with some low numbers comes in here, but lots of variety here. Let's see what we get. Oh, a 2. Marshall Islands with an R. Now that's a recon mission. So the Marshall Islands will take us right here, very close. And a recon mission is a special type of mission. So let's see what that entails. Alrighty, so a special mission with reconnaissance involves us taking this camera. We need to take photographs of perhaps an invasion beach or some other target in the Marshall Islands. Basically what that means is we're going to go to this first box of the Marshall Islands here, which has the M on it, perform the special mission. If we succeed, we have succeeded at the special mission, and then we can continue to hunt in the Marshall Islands as would be of a regular patrol. Now I noticed too, real quick, I didn't turn on the die roll camera on that, but we did roll Snake Eyes. It was a 2 and it was a recon mission. I mean, a 2 here for the mission assignment isn't really all that big of a deal. So we'll drop our camera up on the submarine mat, and now it is time for us to head out. Alrighty, so the Skipjack heads out of Pearl. Not a very far patrol compared to our last couple, which were in the Empire here, but in the Philippines as well. Those are distant hauls here, but still a 2-month patrol for us. Our first transit box. Now again, Snake Eyes are bad. We brought the new dice in because we thought the other ones might be a little bit Snake Eye heavy, and then subsequently just rolled Snake Eyes. But let's see what we get here. Through the first transit box, double 4s, an 8 takes us safely through that box. No incidents occur here. Let's go to the second box, heading towards our special mission box. Got to get through this transit first. Ooh, 3. I saw the 1, couldn't see the 2, and then I looked on the camera die, the die camera, and saw the 3. Now, a 3 here would be bad for us, because we could bring up the special mission chart now. We need a 2, we don't need a 2, 3, or 4. We need a 5 or greater to successfully perform our recon mission, taking photographs of this invasion beach. So hoping for a high number here. Yes, excellent, a 10. So our mission is a success. All we have to do is get home. However, we have 24 torpedoes and 5 zones to explore. So let's see what happens here in the Marshall Islands. Checking it out. Okay, quite a bit of stuff here. Capital ship potential, 2 ships and an escort, a convoy on an 8. Ooh, a convoy would be nice. We could maybe just sit on that. Let's see what we get in our first box. A 5, A 5 is nothing. However, we do have the SJ radar, which means we roll one more time. A 7. A 7 is a nothing. Okay, so now we go to the Marshall Islands ×2 box. So we have 2 patrols to roll in here. An 8. Is that the convoy? Yes, it is. Excellent. So we have a convoy here. Now, I think because our rolls are really good, we're going to roll for night or day, and then we're going to roll to follow, because I want to come in at night. So we're going to perform these rolls right now before we roll up all the ships, because that takes some time. So 1, 2, or 3, it's day. 4, 5, or 6, it's night. Hoping for night. It is not. Now we're going to try to follow. And on a follow, to switch to night, we need a 1 to 5 to successfully follow. And a 6, we would lose it. A 1. Yes. Okay. So it worked. We'd be able to engage this convoy at night. Let's roll up our targets and see what we've got. Alrighty, so let's check out our targets, and we have one very juicy target indeed. First up, we got 2 large targets and 2 small targets. A large freighter, the 6,200-ton Ryujin Maru, is our first target on the left. And this one is the big one. A large tanker, the Tonan Maru, at 19,300 tons. And this is massive. It'll take 4 hits, but it's by far one of the juiciest targets, if not the largest target we've seen in our campaign so far. Then out on the outer edge, we have 2 small freighters, the 2,900-ton Kochi Maru and the 4,600-ton Tsurushima Maru. We're going to, with this, with the detection rolls being a little bit more increased, we're going to play it a little bit conservative here. But I think it makes all sense to go all in on the Tonan Maru. At 19,300 tons, this is the target we want to get. So we are going to fire all 4 torpedoes. We're going to come in submerged. It is nighttime at medium range. Now that's going to give us a chance to hit on 7 or less, which I think is pretty good. And it will also give us a detection roll of 7 or less to get out of here, which I think is good as well, because anything a little riskier than that, we're at 6 or less for detection, and that starts to get a little bit nasty. So with that being in mind, let's get down to Officer Custard in the torpedo room, who's been lining up our shots here. It's nighttime. We've approached as stealthily as possible. Got the Tonan Maru with 19,300 tons in its sights. Our dud rolls are still 1 to 3. If we make it through this patrol, our next patrol, the dud rolls will go down to 1 to 2, which will be helpful. But we have no other modifiers on this. We're firing our forward torpedoes, 7s or less to hit, and 1 to 3 on a dud. Fire 1. Ah, hit, but it's a dud. Oh, come on, we want at least 1 hit on it. Fire 2. 9, it's a miss, and it wasn't a dud. This is going exactly sideways for us. Fire 3. An 8 just misses, and it was a good torpedo. Ah, we're 0 for 3. Fire 4. Ah, I hit, and it's a dud. Bugger. 0 for 4 on the Tonan Maru, and I don't think we're going to have another chance to get it either, because when we re-engage with the convoy, we're going to get completely different ships if we follow it. And we're getting ahead of ourselves because we need to roll on detection here first. Not a good start for us here to this patrol. That was some pretty awful shooting. Well, we hit with the duds. I mean, what can you do? Alrighty, so normally we need an 8 or less, but because it's 1943, we add 1 to the die roll, which means it is a 7 or less. Nothing else comes into play here yet because we weren't on the surface or anything like that. Alrighty, here we go. 7 or less to get out of here. 3. Okay, so we are out of here. Now, I think I'm going to check to make sure we can follow even though we haven't hit anything. We'll get completely different targets, which is disappointing because we didn't damage the large tanker, but I still think we want to follow this and try again. Alrighty, so we can attempt to follow this convoy. I just noticed a mistake we've been making on this too. I'll explain momentarily. But we need a 1 to 5 to successfully follow. On a 6, we have lost the target. 2. So we successfully follow. And what I just noticed here, actually in the top of this submarine combat mart, is this marker here, close range. So unlike the hunters, convoys in Silent Victory are only 3 targets. It's a 4th target pops up if you close to close range, which we generally don't do. So going forward, we're just going to roll up 3 targets instead of 4. My mistake, another mistake I've made here. So that probably works to our favor because it gave us another 4th target that we could have selected from. But I mean, not that big of a deal, but I want to get it right going forward anyway. So let's roll up our targets for the next portion of this convoy. Alrighty, we have 3 small targets this time, not a single large target in sight in this portion of the convoy. On the left-hand side here, we have the 3,200-ton Shinryu Maru, a small freighter. And oops, this is actually a small freighter as well. Let me fix that here. Here we go, get that out of here. Okay, so our second target is the Taiyan Maru, 3,700-ton small freighter. And then the tiniest of the lot, the Kori Maru, at 1,100 tons, a small freighter. We're going to fire 4 torpedoes again to get that 7 or less on detection getting out of here. We're going to ignore the 1,100-ton target and go after the 2 3,000-ton targets. So firing 2 torpedoes at the Shinryu Maru and 2 torpedoes at the Taiyan Maru. Taiyan Maru, yeah, is this one right here. Alrighty, so Taiyan Maru is on the left, Shinryu Maru is on the right. Sorry, there we go. Okay, so let us see if we can do better than the last time. We'll start our first shots on the Taiyan Maru on the left at 3,700 tons. Fire 1. It is an 8, which misses, and it was not a dud. We are 0 for 5 in torpedoes so far. Fire 2. It's a 5 and it hits, but it's a dud. The torpedo god's not smiling on us so far. 0 for 6. Come on, Custard. Get it together. Fire 3. A 9, which misses, and it was not a dud. 0 for 7. Fire 4. It misses, and it's a dud. Gah. Okay. Let's see if we can get out of here. We need a 7 or less to escape detection. Oh, that's not good. This is actually getting a little bit nervy now because with this +1 attack die roll modifier on this, I just want to call our attention to the escort air attack chart because we shift to the right-hand column now because it's July 1943, which means that Japanese depth charge attacks are more effective. You'll notice the greater number of hits. Interestingly, the story that's in the rulebook is that in June of 1943, Congressman Andrew Jackson May came back to Washington, D.C. and told the press, don't worry about our subs, the Japanese are setting their depth charge explosions too low, too shallow. That got reported in the news, it got back to the Japanese and they adjusted their depth charge procedures, which led to greater damage on our subs. So if we were to roll a 12 here, it would be +1, which would give us a 13, which would be sunk. So we would be hereby killed by a U.S. congressman. Now, we just rolled a double 6 before, right? We're not going to roll a double 6 again, but we do have +1 on this die roll modifier. Here we go. For whatever reason, I'm really nervous right now, and I don't know why. Okay, 6. It was doubles, but not double. It wasn't a 6, but it wasn't double 6s. All right, so we got 6 + 1 is 7. That's 2 hits, which is the same as it would have been before. So let's see what kind of damage we get here on our sub. 64 is the... Oh, no, that's the wrong dice. Sorry, doing this all wrong. We got to roll a 6-sided dice. Here we go. Take 2. 6. Okay. So we rolled boxcars that led to +1 on the attacks. Then we rolled 2 3s. Then we rolled boxcars. If we had rolled these boxcars on the previous roll, we would have been sunk. Just saying. But it's still not good because it hits our fuel tank. And I think that is really, it sounds really bad here. Let's actually, I have to shift in our submarine mat too. So let me just do that, then we'll attach that damage. All right, so fuel tanks is bad. Yes, fuel tanks is very bad. Fuel tanks means that we have +1 on escort detection and +1 on our attacks against the Skipjack. And if we don't fix it on a roll of 1 to 2 after these attacks are done, we have to abort our patrol and head back to Pearl. So things have suddenly got very serious because our next escort detection roll is going to be a 5 or less, but we're probably going to exceed hull depth. But anyway, we have to do the second damage roll here, which is a 53. 53 is the SD radar, which which I don't think is really going to impact things so much now. Oh, it might against aircraft, actually, but we'll see here. So those are the 2 hits on the aircraft. Now we have to escort. We have to get out of here on escort detection. It is a +1 for 1943, normally an 8 or less. +1 for previously detected, and then +1 because our fuel tanks are damaged. So it's +3 right now. So we need a 5 or less. We are going to exceed hull damage automatically, so that gives us a 6 or less to get out of here. Oh, this would be good. Please get out of here. 7. Not good. So a 7 plus 2 is a 9. So it's detected. No more hits than just the regular hits that we get, but we're rolling on this right-hand chart. And because our fuel tanks are hit, we have +1 to this die roll. Again, boxcars would sink the Skipjack, but... Oh, good. What's that? 4. 4 plus 1 is 5. Only 1 hit. Okay, so that seems a little bit fortunate. We got a 26, which is diesel engine number 3. We do have a diesel engine number 3, but that's not enough damage on our engines really to have much of an impact. Let's go back and roll again for escort detection. We are going to exceed hull depth again. Now we have to roll because Snake Eyes would damage the hull 1 more. So 4. We successfully exceed test depth to give us +1 on our modifier. So instead of a 5 or less, we need a 6 or less to get out of here. 9 plus 2 is an 11, which is detected. Okay. So again, we get hits here. Now there is a +1 because our fuel tanks, boxcars, is bad. We're looking for a low number. 6 plus 1 is 7, which is 2 hits. Okay, so we take 2 more hits on the Skipjack. 15, which is dive planes. Okay. Dive planes is bad because dive planes modifies our escort detection roll, and it does not have anything to do with damage rolls here. Okay, so we got 1 more hit though. 43. 43 is the SJ radar, which knocks out another radar system. All right, what happened to the flooding? We like the flooding. Okay, so we go back to... Let me just calculate this, then I'll be right back. It's a +4. Normally we need an 8 or less because our dive planes are out, our fuel tanks are out. We've been previously detected and it's 1943. We add 4 to the die roll, which means a 4 or less. I think we have to try here to exceed test depth 1 more time. Now if we roll Snake Eyes, we've imploded. A 3, we take 1 more hit of damage. Anything greater than that, we're okay. A 10, so we're okay. So we successfully exceed test depth, which means that we still need a rather dismal 5 or less to get out of here. This is not looking good. We need a 5. Come on, get us out of here. Oh, did you see that? It was on, what, a 5 and that was a 6. I guess it didn't matter. 8. Here they come again. So 8 plus 3 is 11. That is, doesn't matter. So it's a straight up no die roll modifier here, but it's +1 because our fuel tanks are hit. So 8 plus 1 is 9, which is 3 hits. Oh, we're getting beat on here, and I don't think we can exceed test depth again. 62 aft torpedo doors. All right, I ran out of damage markers here. Give me a second. Aft torpedo doors are out. And I just realized here for this one that there is this aft torpedo door, forward torpedo doors marker here. I've been putting them on the doors themselves, but our aft torpedo doors are damaged. 2 more hits to do. 31 is flooding. Okay, I kind of like flooding because it's usually harmless. Some more flooding, maybe. 42 is the radio. All right, we're getting quite a collection over here. I hope Officer Wagner has brought his wrenches, but I'm not sure we're going to get a chance to use the wrenches. Okay, because here we go again. We need a 4 or less. If we exceed hull damage, a 2 or 3 would sink us. We're going to hold off on that 1 more time. We're going to take it as it is. We need a 4 or less. Let's see if we can get lucky and get out of here. 4, the odds aren't good, are they? 6. I think this is the end. I think we're going to have to try to exceed test depth next time. So we get a 6 plus 4 is 10, +1 because the fuel tanks are out. There are no other modifiers here. Yep, okay, so it's just +1. 3 + 1 is 4. 1 hit. Excellent. Okay. Congressman May, I'm not liking you. What's that? 46 and 4? Yeah, 46. 46 is diesel engine number 4. All right. So that's 2 of them. But I think we're still okay until we get all of our engines, like 3 engines gone. Let me just double check that. Yeah, we're good here. That doesn't cause any problems yet. When we have 1 diesel engine left, we'd have to abort the patrol, but we're kind of looking at that already, and we could fix these. So we'll take 1 more try at 4 or less, and then the next time we're going to have to try to exceed test depth, because it's looking pretty grim here for the Skipjack. 4 or less to exceed detection, escape detection. Come on, Engineer Wallace, get us out of here. 7. Okay. 7 + 4 is 11. No plus marks there, but we do have the +1 for the fuel tanks. So we get 3 + 1 is 4. 1 hit. Getting some nice low rolls there. We just need one of these someplace else. So we take our 1 hit again. 54. Flooding times 2. Oh, just realized I forgot to roll for extra flooding that last time round. So let's roll for extra flooding on that last one first. It's a 1, which means that we stopped it, correct? Yeah, flooding was stopped. So we just take these 2 here, and that ends that round. Now we have to roll to try to stop the flooding there, which is a 3. Engineer Wagner stops the flooding. All right, so we just rolled a 3. We got some low die rolls here. We're going to do 1 more try here at just regular before we exceed test depth again. So we need a 4 or less to get out of here. Give it to us. Get out of here. 11. Oh, that's not good. Because that's modified to a 12 or more, which is +1 on the attack die roll modifier. And we already have a +1 for our fuel tanks. That's it, though, right? So we have +2 to this, which means an 11 or greater, and we sink. Oh, no! Gah! The Skipjack meets its demise in a day of deadly dice rolls. 11 + 2 is 13. Congressman May sunk the Skipjack. Well, I am happy to say that I can tell the aftermath of this. We will show the aftermath of this because there was 1 bright spot, despite the fact that all hands were lost aboard the Skipjack. Almost all hands were lost aboard the Skipjack. One of us could apparently swim pretty well. So I will end this adventure. Well, let's do a summary of what happened here, and then we'll show our final scene, I think. But, yeah, what can you do? All right, so our summary here, it's actually pretty easy because it's exactly as we started out. We didn't sink anything on this patrol. So it was 6 patrols, 6 successes if you count the one that we got sunk on here, too. Because we did, well, I guess if we got the pictures but didn't get them back, right? So we couldn't use the satellites to send the pictures back. So we failed on our 6th patrol. So 5 successful patrols and 1 unsuccessful patrol. And that gives us a total of 11 ships sunk, 50,400 tons, which is in the, I think, the marginal victory category in the game. I'm just going to go check that at the moment here. Alrighty, yeah, so that is 50,400 tons gives us a marginal victory, and even with the additional ships, I think, that we rolled on convoys and with the +1 detection that we had, the mistake that we made last time, my guess is we would have ended up in that same type of range of the marginal victory. So no great impact, I think, on those die rolls there, but we certainly were done in by the die rolls this time, weren't we? Wow. Well, that brings us to the end of this patrol, and the next question is, which Submarine Monday game will we switch to for our next episodes? I think we had a survey. I might put a new survey up just because that one was kind of a little bit of we had some people who are voting for Silent Victory again, but I think we've played Silent Victory enough for a little while, so I think it's time to move on to one of our other games. I might put up a survey. I might just decide. I might go with the By Stealth and Sea, just to do something a little bit different than one of these straight submarine kind of simulations. I was thinking Raiders of the Deep, which would be the Compass game ones on World War I, but I think we might want to switch to something completely different for a little bit here, and then come back to that one. So I'm tempted to go to By Stealth and Sea, and then come into Silent Victory after this. Come back into the Raiders of the Deep after that one. So thank you, though, for watching. Sorry we didn't have success. It was all going so well until it wasn't. Bummer. Gosh, in 1943, and then the escort attack changed. That just really did us in. If you have enjoyed this series, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new, please consider subscribing. We do try to have submarine episodes every Monday, so we'll be back next Monday with something else. I think I am leaning towards that by Stealth and Sea, but I'm not really sure yet. I have to learn it and play it and before we get to that point too. So I'll kind of make that decision as the week goes along. But thank you so much, as always, for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed our escapades with the Skipjack. And I will end here now with a final image of our sole survivor of the Skipjack.